Garbage, garbage, garbage. Whenever my dad gets drunk, he will yell at me and blame me for a lot of things, including why he's an alcoholic. Sadly, though, that one was when he's not drunk. My dad's an asshole. Every single Thursday, it's the same thing. My father tells me, "Oh son, get out there, take care of the trash, be a good boy." Well, I'm tired of taking out the trash. Every damn Thursday I'm out there, in the middle of the creepy darkness. Sometimes the moon isn't even out. And all there is empty road. You can see the city lights in the distance, but no one else in the entire neighborhood is awake, and every single house is dark. Well, except for my house, which has the porch light on. It's kind of funny how if you turn on the lights, it can make a huge difference. Well, in this case, it did. Without the lights, it's entirely dark out there. So the porch light is really the only way of seeing out there. Our trash can is blue. It's not too big, made out of plastic. And it's taken a beating over the years. Now the trash is out by the road. Occasionally I'll bring it up to the house, but usually I leave it out to the road. So by the time I walk all the way out to the front of the lawn near the road, the light cuts off and I can't really see the inside of the trash can. So when I open up the lid, it's pure blackness. The trash can has always been something that I wouldn't expect to make a creepy atmosphere. Well, that was until the other day. One of the Thursdays, my dad was really drunk. In fact, so drunk that he ended up telling me to get out of the house and take out the trash. And if I didn't take out the trash, that I was not allowed back inside. And knowing me, I hate taking out the trash. But of course, I had to listen because otherwise I wouldn't have been back in. And it's better to be inside in my room with my Xbox and my TV than outside with the creepy atmosphere and that damn trash can. As I was walking out, I heard something nestle behind the tree that's closest to the house. It wasn't a big tree, but it was good enough to hide someone behind it if you were playing hide and seek. I just nodded it off and continued to walk out to the trash can. At this time, the trash can had been to the side of the house instead of out by the road. So I grabbed it, put the trash in it, and then pulled it out to the road. In fact, it seemed like before I even put the trash in it, that it was a little bit heavier than usual. Of course, this just had to be the one night that the porch light was dimming. And of course, it dimmed. And occasionally it would flicker. It wasn't until I got halfway back to the porch that I heard another rustling sound behind me. I quickly turned to see if it was a coon or even a woodchuck. Those things are filthy and, God, they have rabies. Alas, there was nothing there. And so I continued to walk up the front porch. By the time I got to the door, oh God, the light started to flicker again. And it seemed like every single time it started to flicker, I would hear the rustling sound. Oddly enough, I could hear it a lot louder this time. It wasn't until I opened the door that I noticed a loud sound. Not that of a raccoon or a woodchuck, but that of a man. Or at least a smaller, younger man. I quickly turned around and noticed that the trash can was shaking. Not like a person, of course, but like as if something had just touched it and it was swaying back and forth. This only lasted for a few seconds because the light started to flicker again. And this time, I heard nothing. I took one last glance at the trash can before I shut the door behind me. I just thought maybe it's just a raccoon. A big raccoon, but a raccoon nonetheless. I went inside and played Xbox the rest of the night. I heard my dad through the walls, yelling, screaming, calling up his whores on the phone. Same as usual, nothing different. Every single night's the same thing. I'm usually a Call of Duty gamer, but ever since my internet got shut off, I can't really enjoy that much without online play. Then I went over to my cousin's house. While I was there, I got access to high-speed internet. Of course, my gold membership was out, obviously, and I had a bit of cash still on my Xbox Live account, so I decided to search for some games to buy. I bought this one game, what is it called? Goat Simulator. The game is absolutely hilarious. Like, I can't even explain to you how enjoyable I found the game. I got another game, Madden 2010. It was alright. Wasn't anything special. Then I got one last game. I only had $10 left on my account, so I decided to purchase this one just simply to the fact that I've never played it before, but I've heard good things. Slender the Arrival. I spent the majority of the weekend playing this game, and oh god, it creeped me the hell out. I didn't get very far because I kept on dying, so eventually I had to come back to my house, and I played it. I played it, and I played it, and I played it. And hell, I even got very far. Finally I came to the end, and it felt like just yesterday I started playing it. Of course, this got me interested in more about the Slender Man, so the next possible chance I got, I went over across the street to my neighbor's house, and with my friend Tommy, we've researched Slender Man. We listened to the creepypastas, and we, even watched some of the fan films. They were stupid. In fact, they were some of the worst movies I've ever seen. In fact, they were Nickelodeon movie bad. On the flip side, though, I did get to learn more about the Slender Man. I think he's pretty cool. I also got introduced into a whole bunch of other creepypastas. And as I went home that night, I went to bed as fast as I possibly could, fearing the slightest of shadows, and of course, the slightest of sounds. Before I knew it, it was Thursday, trash night. My dad was actually sober for the first time in forever, and of course he had his bag of beverages with him, ready to go upstairs and party like it was 2012. He looked at me, and without me even hesitating, I started to go for the trash, and of course, he snickered and made a snotty joke. After my self-esteem dropped a little bit more, I went outside. By the time I went out by the side of the road, I had noticed something. I could have sworn, right before I went over to my uncle's house, I had took the trash can and put it back by the porch. I just pushed it aside, thinking that my dad, as an alcoholic, probably went out here and, God, probably made love to the trash can for all I knew. But that's not the thing that creeped me out. The thing that creeped me out was the subtleness in the air. There was no air. I didn't feel any wind. In fact, I didn't hear any other animals in the distance. And usually there's like a dog from a neighbor's house, or hell, even a couple birds. I didn't hear a single animal that night. No bat, no dog on the neighbor's house, nothing. I lifted up the lid and put the trash in there. Oddly enough, it sort of just landed at the top. This was kind of odd to me, because mainly the fact that the trash can is like, give or take about 4 feet deep, you think the trash wouldn't just land at the top. But it did. And it didn't go down. The odd thing is, ever since I've heard the Slender Man story, everything's been a lot more eerie and unsettling. When the trash did not go down, it sort of scared me. Did my dad already put trash in the trash can? When did he do it? But alas, I let the lid down and started back to the front porch. Now remember when I said the light would flicker? Well, it did. The moment I heard the lid get thrown off the trash can and the trash bag that I had just simply placed in the trash bin come flying over my head and landing on the front porch in front of me, I turned around. The lid was shut. How was that even possible? I turned back around to the front porch and noticed that the trash bag was still there. I couldn't understand what was going on. Now I know this is the part that's gonna make you facepalm, but I picked up the trash and I threw it back at the trash can, spreading trash all over the lawn. Then I ran inside, shut the door, locked it, and went to bed. I woke up thinking it was just a dream, and by the time that I went out there to go inspect this scenery, the trash man had already come and the trash gone. I could have sworn that it had happened, but I guess it was just a dream. Still, it felt very, very real. I still remember the sound of the lid coming off the trash can. Just like the one before, the week had flown by faster than any other week in my entire life. I was so jittery about that dream I had a few days ago. How stupid was it of me to assume that that could have been possibly real? Something in the trash That doesn't make any sense. In fact, sometimes I find myself thinking that I'm sort of going crazy. Ever since I played that Slender Man game and got into these creepypastas, I've been all jittery and fearful. Is that a bad thing? Maybe I should call my mother up and see if I can go visit a psychologist. Maybe they can help me. I would have talked to my dad about the incident, but he really doesn't care about what I think. But of course, he yelled at me, "Go take out the trash, boy. Get your ass out there and take care of the trash, boy." Sometimes I hate my father, but he's all I got sometimes. Speaking of parents, I called my mother up. She told me that I have an appointment next week with a psychologist. I'm not sure entirely what's going to happen, but I could be put on some medication, and that might not be so good for me. At this time, I was opening up the front porch's door. As I took my first steps out, the trash can, it's all I could see, being out by the road still. I hadn't touched that thing. I don't think I really want to. It was just a dream. Dreams can't hurt you. I started down the stairs, and something odd happened. I looked to my left, and I swore out of the corner of my eye I saw something moving around in the bushes. After further investigation, I noticed that it was just a branch behind the tree hanging off of it. That damn Slender Man game has got me going bonkers. Pretty soon I'm going to be afraid of my own shadow. After thinking about it, and accepting the fact that it was just a dream, and I'm just going a little bit crazy from lack of sleep, I courageously walked to the trash can and lifted the lid. It was dark. Not that dark, but still dark enough to the point where I could not see it was down there. I went to put the trash bag down, and that's when it happened. My body froze. My eyes were staring down into the trash can's deep, dark depths. There, looking back at me, was two eyes. They didn't look like the average eyes, but that of an animal. I was locking eyes with something that was in the trash can. What it was, I really have no idea. Just then I heard a noise from behind me onto the porch, and I swung around to see my father yelling at me from the porch deck. "Oh, just put the trash in there, boy. What are you, scared or something?" For just that moment I had forgotten what I was looking at, and I turned back to the trash bin. And the eyes were gone. I don't know how to explain it. The pair of eyes I was just looking at. No. There were no eyes. There couldn't have been. I'm just seeing things. Maybe there was some metal or even glass left in the bottom of the bin, and it was just reflecting off the light. I guess I felt even more stupid than knowing the fact that there was no light to reflect off of whatever it was down there. I put the trash in the bin, and I walked back to the porch. I stayed up the remainder of the night. My eyes never once left the trash can. Eventually my eyes felt heavy and I had passed out. I was awoke by the sounds of a garbage truck, and I looked out to the garbage truck. The man picked up the garbage bin and just threw the trash away into the garbage truck. I've gotta be seeing things, I told myself. I started to think that maybe maybe I just need that medicine more than anything. A few days later, I was really jittery when I went to go see the psychologist. He prescribed me medicine, stuff that's supposed to help me sleep, and also balance the chemicals in my head. I don't know what that means, but I guess he's the doctor and I have to do what he says, considering I'm not old enough to say no. I didn't tell anyone about the experiences I shared. I didn't think anyone would believe me, especially since I myself thought they were dreams. I called my mother up, and I said thank you so much for prescribing the medicine. The medicine did help. In fact, I was sleeping better, and I felt less exhausted. In fact, I didn't feel bad at all, and I was sort of happy. The thoughts of Slender Man shot out of my mind like a cannon, and I didn't have any more problems trying to fall asleep. This gave me courage beyond repair, and something as simple as taking out the trash didn't look very hard anymore. But I would soon find out that that courage was just an excuse for signing my own death warrant. Before I knew it, I was having that discussion with my father. Well, lack of discussion, more like a command to a dog. "Take out the trash, boy," he yelled at me. So I grabbed the damn trash and I went out the damn door. God, I really hate that man. I walked outside to the front porch, and before anything, I noticed something right off the bat. The trash can was, well, let's just say, it wasn't exactly inanimate. The trash can was moving. It's hard to believe I hadn't even gotten off the porch yet and shit was already hitting the fan. Just then I noticed the lid swing open. Some sort of a creature with those same damn eyes. Those eyes that I saw. Those eyes that was just a dream. They were, oh God, they were there. That wasn't all. So was this thin, skinny, hairless thing with ears like a rabbit, and it had these gigantic claws. The claws were as big as a tennis racket, and that's without exaggerating. Before I knew it, the thing had climbed out of the bin, and with it, pulled something else out. Something that I hadn't noticed before. I had thought back to why I didn't hear any animals. The thing had pulled out the carcass of the neighbor's dog. It hadn't noticed me. Thank God. I was standing there, very still. I saw it as it bit the dog's head off, right off the neck. The entire spinal cord was ripped out of the dog's carcass. It was like an appetizer. I started to feel tears run down my eyes. That courage, that sense of optimism was gone, and it felt like I was back in the nightmares again. Only this time, I knew I wasn't in a dream. I knew I wasn't daydreaming or imagining this. I knew it was happening. And I knew it was happening because of what happens next. My father, that dumbass, he yelled, "Boy, did you get that trash taken care of yet?" The thing looked in my direction. It looked into my eyes. It must have stood 6 feet tall. It had to have been curled up while it was inside that bin. I don't know how something that big could fit inside something so small in comparison to it. It just stared me down. I watched it as it creeped into the darkness, dragging the dog's carcass along with it. It disappeared into the dark, and as fast as it disappeared, my ass was in that house. I locked every single door. I had the phone ready. I was gonna call 911, but what would they think if I told them that something had crawled out of my trash can with the dog? I didn't know what to do. My dad walked into the room. He said, "Boy, did you take care of that trash?" My dad had walked into the room looking at me, with the trash still in my hand. He walked up to me and yelled, "So you didn't take care of that trash after all there, boy?" He smacked me across the face. I lashed back at him. "You're drunk! You have no right to hit me!" He pushed me down, started stomping on me. He yelled at me, "If you don't know how to take out the trash, then I guess I'll have to do it. I'll take out this bag, and then I'll come in and deal with the real trash." He was gonna go outside and put it in the dumpster. Dad, don't do it. I mean, I hated my dad, but I still loved him. He's still a human being, and nobody's perfect. And if he went out there, oh God. I yelled, "Dad, don't do it, please. Just stay in the house. Don't go out there." He looked at me with a self-centered, appointed look. that of which you give someone who's defiantly stupid compared to you. What, you scared of the dark? Boy, you ought to know better than that. He chuckled as he walked out the door, and I screamed, Dad! Dad, don't go! Please, Dad, don't! Dad, don't! Don't go out there, it's gonna get you! There ain't nothing out here that can touch me, boy. And I'll get to you once I'm done doing this. I watched as he walked out, down the steps, out to the trash can. He opened up the lid. Oh, God. I watched as my dad dropped the trash bag on the ground and was pulled into the trash can. Wanted to scream, but he couldn't. The thing popped out, its claw wrapped around his back. Its face locked eyes with him. Its other claw dug into his stomach and went right through. I could hear him scream, or at least try to, while blood filled his mouth. I was bawling my eyes. I didn't know what to do. I grabbed the phone. I went to go shut the door and lock it so it couldn't get in the house. Afraid for my own life. But, God damn it, the light flickered. Just then it looked, and it locked eyesight with me. As soon as I saw its face, bloody as it mauled my dad's off, I ran upstairs. I went into my dad's office, locking the door behind me, and tried calling my mom. She didn't pick up. I tried calling the psychologist. He didn't pick up. I tried calling my friend. He didn't pick up. I heard a smash from downstairs. It was in the house. I could hear it moving around downstairs. Thankfully, it didn't go upstairs first, and I guess it must have receded down to the basement, looking for me anywhere it could find me. And now, as I leave you this message on your phone, Mom, I want to tell you that I love you, and I want to tell you that I'm sorry for being the reason why you and Dad couldn't be together. He's been blaming me for all these years, and now I finally get it. I'm so confused. I don't know what to do, Mom. Just then, I heard the doorknob being chiseled. I had no words, no breath. All I could do was scream with no voice in terror. The door swung open. The light flickered and all it showed was the trash can. The trash can seemed to move by itself. It got closer and closer until it was 5 feet away from me. The lid opened, and the trash can fell over, forward towards me. And something fell out of it, onto my legs. It was my dad's carcass. He couldn't even be identified as a human anymore. It was just bits and pieces, taken apart. What was left of my father. I had begged him so much to stay inside. I looked where his eyes should be, pretending that his face was still there, and I said, I'm sorry, Dad. I'm sorry for ruining your entire life with Mom. I couldn't hold it in anymore. I threw up all over it. Then I noticed something I hadn't noticed before. Behind the trash can rose a figure that seemed to be curled up before, growing taller, bigger. Its thin, cylinder-shaped body, both claws stuck out, and its eyes locked with mine.
Huh? Damn phone.
You have one new message.
A new voicemail from... Oh, shit.
New message. Received today at 2:52 a.m. To return the call at your normal call rate, press hash.
Damn it, Johnny. Why do you gotta call me at this time of night? The damn boy's going through one of his night terrors again. I'll listen to it later. Oh, well, there he is now. Hello, Johnny? Johnny, baby, talk to me. What? Hello? Johnny? Johnny? That damn kid. I'm going back to bed. I'll listen to the voicemails tomorrow. I hope he's alright.